I spent a month and a half making this stylized ghost game, and honestly, it turned out to be pretty enjoyable. What's up everyone? Today I'm taking you through the development of this little ghost adventure game I made about a year ago. We've got dungeons, puzzle solving, and a lot of things that almost broke my sanity. Let's dive in. Alright, so the concept was pretty simple. You play as this cute stylized ghost exploring dungeons, solving puzzles, collecting coins, and avoiding enemies. The art style I was going for was this cartoonish, stylized look. Nothing too realistic, just fun and colorful. And honestly, the decision probably saved me so much time. So like any good game developer, I started with the basics. Movement system, play controls. You know, the stuff that makes your character actually do something. I did some basic UI, mainly the health and the inventory slots. And to be honest, this little piece of shit took me a lot of time. Then I moved on to puzzles and the simple inventory system. Nothing crazy, just enough to make the game actually feel like a game and not a walking simulator. Now here is where things start to get spicy. I needed props, walls, boxes, bones, all the dungeon aesthetic stuff. I modeled the main character, our little ghost body here, tried to keep it simple but expressive. Made an enemy too. I don't know, but you probably could recognize him since a character like this exists. I just don't know what it's called. But here is the thing, finding props and materials that matched my art style was actually really hard. I spent hours browsing asset stores and nothing really fit the vibe I was going for. So I said, I'm just gonna make everything myself in Blender. Created my own materials, which were basically just solid colors. Sample?
Yes.
Did it work? Also.
Yes.
One of my favorite features, destructible objects that drop coins. Very satisfying, definitely would smash again. I added these grabbable cubes for puzzles. Made the stone elevator with a glowing texture that actually turned out pretty cool. I spent way too long getting that glow just right. Implemented saving and loading because nobody wants to lose their progress. Animated the player and enemies. This took longer than I'd like to admit. Animations are hard, guys. Even added sound effects like footsteps. Wait, do ghosts have footsteps? I did a main menu and pause menu. You know, the boring but necessary stuff. So here is where I hit a massive wall. Making dungeons in my area was taking forever. Like, I'd spend hours just placing walls and props and it still looked empty. I needed a solution and I needed it fast. Using spline tools, I could draw out dungeon paths and it would generate the geometry automatically. Game changer. But, and this is a big but, editing this thing absolutely destroyed my performance.
Oh my PC!
Like, my computer was ready to quit gamedev and became a calculator instead. The fix? Convert the finished parts into a static mesh. That way, it's not constantly recalculating the spline geometry. Problem solved. Oh, and the inventory system? Yeah, that has some glitches. And did I fix them? No. Sometimes in gamedev, it's a feature. But I did finish the dungeon level and got the lighting working, which honestly made everything look so much better. Lighting's like 50% with good visuals. So after a month and a half of work, this is what I ended up with. A little stylized ghost game with dungeons, puzzles, a simple combat and only some game breaking bugs. Looking back at this a year later, there is definitely stuff I do differently, but honestly, I'm pretty proud of what I managed to pull off. And that's the devlog. If you made it this far, thanks for watching. This was a really fun project to work on. If you want to see more devlogs or game dev content, hit the subscribe button, drop a comment and let me know what kind of games you'd like to see me make. And as always, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.